Hello, this is Yosif Moraru, and today I am presenting how to make a great speech for Capstone 404. So, how do you make a great speech? There's three keys you got to keep in mind. First thing is you got to identify which type of speech you will have. This could be informative or persuasive. Then you got to choose an organization. You have to choose what research you will do, what things you will look up. Then you have to make it so it's all organized very nicely. Lastly, you have to deliver. Now, when it comes to delivering, you have to be very good at your voice and as well as your body language. So, identifying your speech. This is from chapter 11 of Communication in the Real World. So, you really have to think back and say, what do I want to do with this speech? Do I want to persuade people or do I want to inform them? If you want to persuade people, that's basically convincing them of whatever thought you have in your mind. Depending on the topic you will be talking about, there may be some people that are already persuaded and there's some that might not be. Your job is to A, reinforce those people that think the same as you, and B, change people's mindsets of those that don't think like you. When it comes to inform, you really just want to help the audience learn new things. You can educate your audience, make them learn something new that they've never done before. Or maybe they do know about something, but there is a misrepresentation. You want to take the opportunity with your speech to inform them and educate them about the new process and what you have to say. Whichever one you choose, though, you must speak in the right tone. When you're identifying your speech, you must also work on your ethos, pathos, and logos. Logos are good reasoning in your argument. Whether it is informative or persuasive, you must give good reasoning as to why you are talking about what you are talking. You must make the audience think about what you are saying and reason with it. Pathos is attacks their emotional appeal. If you are able to inform somebody about something tragic, you can really use pathos and really dig into their heart and talk about something that's very informative that can be very impacting to them. It really depends on how you use your cards, depending on your tone and everything, how you talk about it. When it comes to ethos, this has to be by far one of the most important things. Ethos makes it so that you are a credible person. People have trust in what you are saying. What comes out of your mouth makes sense to people and it is a source that they can rely on. So now that you identified your speech, how do you make it? It's simple, quite really. You really got to do some research and be organized. Organizing is part of chapter 9 in communication in the real world. So first thing you kind of do is research. Now that you know that you want to persuade or inform, you got to research. You got to find information that backs up whatever you are presenting. You want to find some credible sources that back up your statements and find visuals that support you whatever you're talking about. When it comes to organizing, you want to make sure that it is a clear and cohesive story for the listener to listen to. You don't want them to be going back and forth listening on what you are saying, trying to remember a bunch of things or even mention that. You want it to be nice and smooth flow. Even the best thing you can do with this is practice. Would this make sense if you step away from it and then come back? Is it in chronological order? Those things are very important to make sure your audience is captivated and listening. So, now that your speech is ready, are you? You really have to deliver the message. No matter what the message is, if you can deliver it, it can really impact people. So the first part of delivering a message is your body language. Your entire presence says everything that the listener needs to know. If you are not dressed appropriately for the occasion, people will not take you seriously. People will then affect that ethos where they might take you into consideration what you're saying is credible or that you're a reliable source. Best thing you can do is always dress formally, have proper posture, and also something very, very much deeper is charisma. Now that can get you to a even higher height because when you have charisma and it attacks the appropriate people, they are really captivated in what you have to say. A lot of them want to listen to what you have to say because of your charisma. So charisma isn't just something that's gifted to you, something you can also work on through body language, through clothing, through posture, even just smiling also helps build your charisma. Now, when it comes to your voice, you have to be loud and clear. Loud and clear. You want to make sure people are not confused about what you are talking about. You want to make sure that they can hear what you have to say. Those things make sure that at the end of the presentation, the listener knows what you were talking about. They're not scratching their head thinking, oh, did he mention this or did he mention that? Or did she mention this? Did she mention that? Okay? You got to also have some tonality when it comes to your voice. Nobody wants to hear the TV silence or the monotone voice. They want to have highs and lows. And you got to learn how to leverage that when you're talking about your persuasive speech or informative speech. You want to have moments where you're kind of letting the person guess, or you want to have the person really get something down so you're more focused. You talk to them like this. All these things change and make you have a great speech. So an example of this is, let's say you choose to write an informative speech about giraffes. What you'll have to do is, you might not know much about giraffes, so you'll research, you'll know how tall they are, what kind of food they eat, uh, how do they grow, how long do they live for. All these things will help you back up having a great speech that informs people about giraffes. And because it's about giraffes, you can also have some enthusiasm when you talk about them. You can really say their necks can be like 10 feet long. That is really something cool. Whereas if you say something like, oh, their necks are 10 feet long. You know, there's a difference. You can tell. So, in order to have a great speech, you must be able to talk. Talk like your life depends on it. You must have a clear voice, a voice with tonality. You must be organized, do your proper research, and choose if you really want to persuade people or just simply inform them. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. This has been Yosif Moraru. Have a great day.